Throughout this module, we will introduce different programs and regulations related to dairy products. Hopefully, at the end of the module, you have a basic understanding about those programs and regulations. First of all, dairy products are also milk products. Before we continue, we need to know what are considered milk products. Code of Federal Regulations, Title 21, defines that milk products consist of lactose secretions from one or more healthy milk-producing animals. These animals can be cows, goats, sheep, and water buffalo. Therefore, some products that do not consist of lactose secretions from one or more healthy milk-producing animals, such as soy milk and almond milk, even though the word milk is used in the product names, are not dairy products. All food facilities that fall under the Food Safety Modernization Act, or FSMA, must conduct hazard analysis and risk-based preventive controls. These facilities include facilities that manufacture, process, pack, or hold human foods, and dairy facilities are not exempt. There are a few prerequisite programs for hazard analysis and risk-based preventive control, such as Current Good Manufacturing Practice, or GMP, which is needed for all manufacturers. There are some other prerequisite programs, such as hygienic zoning in ready-to-eat facilities and supplier and product specifications. What prerequisite programs are needed depend on what the specific facility process, produce, and store. Code of Federal Regulations, Title 21, outlines GMP, hazard analysis and risk-based preventive controls, and related information. GMP and hazard analysis and risk-based preventive controls are also covered in more details in other modules. There are some other optional programs which are not required for dairy facilities. However, many of them are implemented by dairy facilities. One of them is Hazard Analysis Critical Control Point, also known as HACCP. HACCP is a science-based management system for ensuring food safety control and preventing unsafe foods from reaching consumers. In HACCP, food safety is addressed through the analysis and control of hazards from raw material production, procurement, and handling to manufacturing, distribution, and consumption. For dairy facilities, National Conference on Interstate Milk Shipments, also known as NCIMS, has provided guidance for dairy HACCP. Some other optional programs include Safe Quality Food, or SQF, and BRC Global Standards, or BRCGS. These are both recognized by the Global Food Safety Initiative, also known as GFSI. The GFSI is a coalition of action from the Consumer Goods Forum, or CGF. This organization recognizes a number of certification programs that meet the GFSI benchmarking requirements. One of the world's most widely accepted benchmark documents for food safety programs. Many dairy manufacturers or processors implement some of these programs because customers require them to have these third-party audits. These customers include some retail companies or food companies. The PMO sets the minimum standards and requirements for Grade A milk production, processing, and packaging. Therefore, dairy facilities that produce Grade A milk need to meet the standards of PMO. These standards are recommended by the NCIMS. Even though HACCP is not required, dairy HACCPs follow guidance by NCIMS is a voluntary alternative to the traditional system under the PMO. PMO has also incorporated preventive controls for human foods according to FSMA. Different states across the United States can have different regulations related to dairy products. For example, Since raw milk can pose a serious health risk because it can harbor many pathogenic microorganisms, interstate sale or distribution of raw milk is banned. However, the legal status of the sale of raw milk varies in different states. Therefore, besides federal regulations and industrial standards, you should check the state and local regulations related to the producing, processing, packaging, and selling of dairy products. Here are some references.